on the ground. I mean, at this point, this many years in, it's just a term, especially the booth. It just makes me want to vomit.
Hi, my name is Dee. Welcome to Dee True Crime. Please like, subscribe, and share. Let's recon Jodisue.
Because how tragedy pimps have taken that over, and I don't think that's a term anyone besides real law enforcement, searchers, and such should ever use. Or be referred to as, or say of themselves. Hearing that from anyone's mouths otherwise makes me want to vomit. And I was first on the ground looking for, at least below. I don't know how to put it, but look, guys. So, the day Summer went missing, my children and I heard her scream quite a while before she was reported. Much like when you hear Raider go, "We were doing recon." The fuck? You mean reconnaissance? Oh wait, that's a word that plays well in front of audiences. Fuck that shit.
Well, y'all heard her. She said, fuck that shit.
You know? It's that type of shit I don't like. But anytime that I hear Ellie and feds are at least making themselves known, I mean, it's one of those, moments where I'm always glad to hear it. And, it's always a sign of hope. It's a sign that we're still looking for the answers and things, or to put things together. And that's better than a tragedy pimp or affiliates any day of the week.
That coming from somebody who's been here for 4 years and never took even a day off. That's right. That coming from someone who has used Summer Wells and never even shows her picture or her Amber Alert poster.
I just hope that the reasons they're brought it every time is not because of some tragedy pimp bullshit, hoax shit, screwing with, tampering with law enforcement, courts, feds, things you all are very well known to do and that I've seen done. Sadly enough, horrifyingly enough, terribly enough, heartbreakingly enough, terrorizingly enough, over the years. There's that. Right? Generally because some team this or tragedy pimp that or some wackadoodle out world. The investment teams, the weird shit behind this whole place over here known as true crime, all the things. Want some sort of content or bullshit or direct, target, do whatever, Build a story, a script, that type of shit.
Mama sold her. Mama sold her daughter to pedophiles.
Some of them motherfuckers up to something else. I don't know. Some wackadoodle something. So, you just always hope it's get tired of it. And for some of us, it feels like an eternity. and it feels like the same day. You know, all at the same time. But you know that every damn second and minute should have never been. Should have never been. And that somewhere someone is responsible.
Yeah, there are people responsible. Sure is. And we're going to find out who they are.
And they're still out here somewhere. Free being monsters, you never can tell. And that'll be the feds and all law enforcement agencies' jobs to tell. Courts and otherwise.
For 4 years, Jodisue has been trying to paint herself as someone connected to the law enforcement agencies of Hawkins County and the FBI and the TBI. She tries to paint a picture of her relationship with law enforcement. She tries to make us think that she is in real close relationship with the law in Hawkins County, Tennessee. She's trying to paint herself as being on the good side of the law.
Though, you know, according to this room, it's their job to whatever.
She's wearing down. She's getting tired. She's had just about enough.
Right. Basically, the script write everything into existence. Bullshit. Con scheme, you know.
Script write it into existence? Okay.
Like they do in every high profile case. Or any they're allowed to. I don't know. And it's their job, and they're allowed to, and whatever, you know. No. It's not, I probably would not be live or at Candace and Donnys' driveway. Something about it struck me wrong.
She and her family next heard a truck door slamming and dismissed it as their neighbors. The next sound was harder to justify. About an hour and a half before Summer is thought to go missing, Jodisue, her son, and her daughter heard something far more suspicious. A scream.
Stopped all three of us cold. You know, wrong. It wasn't a dog, it wasn't an animal. And I decided to go out and look and see what we could see. We went back onto the bank. Well, you never know. If it weren't for the fact that weird things have been happening, well, for over 4 years now, but
Oh, you must mean ever since you did that interview with Ansley Daniel on November 11th, 2021. Just like I've been saying for 3.5 years, Jodisue, you're the reason your kids are here. You brought them here in your back seat.
Definitely for about a year now. Most especially, like I've said, last few months, last few weeks, damn sure the last few days. I do not find the timing.
I keep seeing a pattern right here. Every time somebody even gets close to a smidgen of the truth, this is what she does.
Or coinciding of certain things necessarily coincidental.
On True Crime, we decided there was no coincidences a long time ago, over 3 years ago.
Didn't see anything, didn't hear anything. At this point, I start hearing Candus hollering for Summer. And then my brain immediately went, scream earlier, this, uh-oh.
Statements to the police, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Jody
Interviewed numerous times by not only my agency, but the TBI and FBI, and we don't find anything with that complaint.
Well, if not that complaint, I'm sure you have another one in mind then, sir.
Well before summer vanished and well after, until they started calling for all properties to be searched. So there you goddamn receipts, Fred, Ziggy, Dear World. Even we didn't have access to the goddamn Fields property, you fucking dipshits. So no, Jodisue and Andy and everybody else didn't hide Summer anywhere. Nothing was done. There's proof on camera and by feds and law enforcement and big boy equipment and hayfields themselves and gates and neighbors that, nope, wrong answer. Fred, Ziggy, Dear World, you dumbasses who eat and breathe and feed fucking tragedy pit narratives like hungry baby birds and then use them to torment all of us with because you buy their bullshit and lies. There you goddamn receipts, right? Because I always say fields, fields, fields. It's the road y'all are fed, right? But it's actually Bale they were coming to. That last search or two. Now, I don't know what they found compiled with all the big boy heckin' equipment to make them come back to areas of interest that way. You know, the thing is, on the 15th, I heard Fred's truck. Heard it leave. Here's the thing about that, though, right? Who's to know who was driving Fred's truck when it left? I don't. I hope cameras that they captured his face driving, but here's the thing, though. Fred's truck stopped at a certain point and then restarted at a certain point and then left that road. I'm certain of that. It stopped after a certain point. I'm certain of that. Why, I can't say. Initially, I thought, well, it's just its usual piece of shit self. Tearing up, breaking down, I don't know. Maybe he's over there hanging out with Candace and Donnys again or something. Or who the fuck knows what Fred's doing? Fred's Fred. Oh well. This shit's always tearing up. That time the yellow truck's having issues too. It's a consistent thing. It's whatever. Had trouble starting, stopping, and doing all the things.
So what she just told you is Fred had a yellow truck too. A yellow SUV.
Even well after summer vanished, when they were out here in town and shit, and it's fun. But anyway, so I didn't think much about it that day. I have thought about it a lot since. Things set up, targeted, fucked with. Couldn't blame him on that front. Thought, well, mud and jello from just these assholes. But they were the only ones really head and nose and shit 24 hours a day. Some of the things, looking back, don't quite vibe to me. And it could still be that situation because Well, when you have a team formulated around people and it looks like they're all targeting or fucking with witnesses and others and trying to make people look entirely sus as fuck while cleansing the asses of others, well, it's got a feel to it. I just know all kinds of things from all parties around everything are a whole goddamn lie. And it's always trying to figure out why. What's what, this, the other, and hear their tones and all sort of shit. Because guess what? Lived there. Well, most of them, like Fred, my entire life, throughout all the stages of his, before certain shit kicked in, and all these other things, you know, Fred's Fred. Never underestimate Fred, though. Either way, thing is, I can't say who's driving Fred's truck. It doesn't mean that Fred possibly wasn't left behind back there. Doesn't mean Fred didn't get out of the truck at some point either. Somebody else took the truck out. What I do know to be fact is that Fred came back in that road and, well, after the helicopter was up, had a trailer behind him. What it was pulling, traffic got brought up where some people could leave the road that had been trapped in there for hours. That had been part of the initial search efforts with I and other neighbors for summer. But that doesn't mean he was the one driving that truck when it left out of there. Doesn't mean that he didn't get out of it at some point and somebody else take it on out of there. And him had different ways. Doesn't mean, and I go through these puzzles every day. Fire puzzles. You think, well, it's weird certain shit follows all the dope trails. Could people have gotten out of things or done things and met out towards the main road and gotten into vehicles again and or met later and come back in driving those things? I mean, I don't know. I just know that that's up to law enforcement feds to figure out. That's what I know. I'm sick of the bullshit. Today, I feel like eating Ziggy's favorite food with receipts. Some of the thoughts in certain fires puzzles. Fred said he was key to everything. He'd worn wires on everybody, all these conversations, try to make everybody else look all kinds of ways. Ziggy did too. Now, what law enforcement's then going to go right behind that? Have what is apparently their star person wearing wires on everybody do all that shit and then go set that motherfucker up cold with hard cells and wires. And then try to place that what? In front of a jury? A judge to back up those wires? Come on. I don't really give a shit either. Now, as far as him and Dawn, whatever, I hope shit was gotten from whoever it needed to be gotten from. I hope the whole goddamn neighborhood was wired. I don't really give a shit. Around somewhere for some in her case. But I know nothing from Little or Monster and that shit had anything to do with anything. Usually when Fred was coming up seeking information or trying to fuck with us or trying to misdirect shit at that point, him and Dawn would conveniently somehow magically know each other with her, and there'd be a meeting and we would move the fuck away from them so they could do whatever the fuck it was they were doing since the very night someone vanished. And then we carried on about our business and we were well aware of what Fred was doing, and he was trying to gather and be nosy and all that. Yeah. And weirdly enough, trying to misdirect and do weird shit and fuck with shit. And you think at first it's just Fred's big, it's just twacker, it's just a sinner. But looking back, it's like hell, him and C&D and the rest doing the same thing to one another. Why? You know? Why trying to distance between one another? Why behavior patterns change between them? That to make others believe that they've been separated as super close frenzies for, I don't know, convenient 6 months. I don't know, man. It all has flavor on it to me.
Probably for the same reason that Don Wells said he didn't know you and Andy that well. He didn't hang out with y'all.
Certain things we know.
Mama sold her daughter to pedophiles.
This is competition, and people pay a pretty penny for that.
Jodisue, did you know that Andy took a certain YouTuber to where Summer was buried? He did. She told Reverend Donna Serafina and showed her where it was at. It's on YouTube. It's documented.
Or the fact that all these things over the last few weeks have taken place. And that it feels like I wouldn't say just feels like, but Lil and I are being screwed with extraordinarily hard, especially over the last few months, but damn sure the last few weeks, last few days. I do not find it coincidence that certain things begin happening around times that others became aware of.
Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, join my memberships, and you'll have a great night.